Hello, my name is Jonathan Finelli and I am a senior accounting major and Italian studies minor. My experience with Italian culture has been a constant for a long time, ever since I was young. I come from a proud, full-blooded Italian-American family from just outside Providence, Rhode Island. Providence has a large Italian-American community, so I was constantly exposed to Italian culture throughout my youth. However, the greatest presence of Italian culture that I felt was definitely from my maternal grandparents. Pasqualina and Antonio Ferrara were born in small Italian villages and emigrated to the United States in the 1950s. After working hard to build a living and start a family, they still clung to their Italian roots and raised their 2 daughters and 4 grandchildren to be proud Italian Americans. My grandparents taught us a lot about Italian food, music, and culture. They also tried to teach us some of the language. This led me to pursue the study of Italian language, which I started in middle school and later carried on throughout high school and college. Here at Loyola, I had the amazing opportunity to study abroad in Rome, which took my study of Italian language and culture to another level. I lived for 4 months in an apartment in Rome, and during that time I was able to explore the beauty of the Eternal City and the rest of Italy. It was just an added benefit that I had the opportunity to spend some quality time with family that I had not seen in years, and some that I had met for the first time. Zia Evelina still lives with her family in the same house that my grandmother grew up in. So in between my trips throughout Europe, I tried to spend as much time there as I could. Their small town of Roccamonfina is nestled up in the mountains of Campania and lies about an hour drive from Naples. What I saw in this small village was such a contrast to the Italy that I had seen throughout my travels in places like Tuscany or Venice. It was an old, simple, and quaint town that made its living from agriculture, but was breathtakingly beautiful. Many small towns in the Italian South are just like Roccamonfina, as their inability to modernize has left them looking as beautiful as ever, but economically weak. What is sad is that this has been such a long-lasting problem that has been so difficult to tackle. This problem was true when Antonio Gramsci wrote The Southern Question. It was the reason for my grandparents and so many other Italian Americans feeling the need to leave southern Italy, and it is still true to this day. Our study of Antonio Gramsci in this class was mainly focused on his Southern Question. The disparity between the Italian North and South has been a well-documented problem since the unification of Italy in 1861. Gramsci's solution to the problem was to create a strategic alliance between northern industrial workers and southern peasants in order to create a historic bloc that could incite a communist revolution and do away with capitalism. While this never came to fruition, Gramsci's ideas on the Southern Question have continued to be extremely influential. I was able to connect the Italian South that Gramsci wrote about with the Italian South that I saw in my time spent in Roccamonfina and elsewhere in southern Italy. While there are many problems for the economic disadvantages of southern Italy, I chose to look at the problem from the point of view of my major, which is accounting. While most of accounting deals with number crunching and preparation of financial statements, I thought that the concept of internal control could be relevant to the Southern Question. Internal control simply refers to the systems and processes that companies put in place to ensure the efficiency and effectiveness of their employees, as well as to protect companies from fraud. When we looked at a lot of the issues with the Italian South, we saw that government inefficiency, corruption, and the mafia were substantial burdens on the economy of the South. Anytime the federal government would try to invest money in the South, it was often mismanaged or handled inefficiently. The presence of government corruption and the mafia, particularly the business of various mafia, also had a negative impact on the southern Italian economy. I thought that all of these could tie into internal controls, as an effective system of internal controls could be the remedy to some of these problems. My research question therefore became, does the Italian South have an effective system of internal controls, and if not, could the presence of proficient internal controls economically benefit the South? With this research question, I intend to look into the root cause of the failures of the Italian government to improve the South and whether or not this could be linked to Italy's internal controls. This will include research involving the various anti-corruption and anti-mafia laws, as well as looking into who are supposed to be the government watchdogs for the inefficient and ineffective spending of government money. Are there proper regulations in place to prevent all this negative stuff from happening, or does Italy actually have a strong set of internal controls that are just not being enforced? Whatever the case may be, a strong implementation of internal controls would certainly help the economy of southern Italy and give it a fighting chance of closing the gap with the North and ending the age-old Southern Question.